Sarah Price, what's up?
What's up, guys?
How are you, dude?
Okay,
White
can I go
cages? What is
sideways or
this?
no?
White cage day?
What?
What is this? White cage day? I've got the same backdrop as you.
I know, man. You're copying me over here. We got
Sorry.
white cars, white backdrop, and just Polaris razor. Oh wait, not a razor over there,
Yeah,
man.
I'm failing at life right now. Dude, I got apparently I got the memo for the white cage day. Hey, so you've been so busy. How are you?
Dude, it's been crazy. Life's been a lot of traveling, a lot of worldwide traveling, which if you asked me 5 years ago, it'd be exactly what I wanted to be doing today. And yeah, living the dream.
It is pretty cool to see that you're out there doing all that stuff. Like I remember a long, long time ago. Like remember when you had the orange razor?
The 900.
And you were mobbing at Glen Helen, like I could just see the like stars in your eyes, like I'm gonna make it into off road one of these days. And then like now you're doing it. It's so cool.
I know it's pretty crazy to look back and kind of, I came from motocross and that was kind of a dead end street, I guess you can say. Like the light at the end of the tunnel didn't really keep going. And so when I got into cars, I had a business, I paid for it myself. And then I was like, you know what? I need to be racing. It's the only way I'm happy.
Dude.
So one thing led to another. And I was like, what do I have to race next? I want to race something cool. Let's race this. Let's race that. And then just things happen.
Yeah, how did that even work out though? Like did you just kind of just like let it happen and just choose the ones that you wanted to drive? Like trophy truck, obviously now you're doing extreme E, like
I kind of just, I think when you work hard and you put yourself in a position that you do the time, right? You put in the effort that it takes to be in that position. Opportunities just kind of come, but
yep.
you also have to be, open to them because not a lot of people are. So if it's not one opportunity leads to another one. So it's like I just, no matter what, I wanted to be involved with it. I wanted to be around it. I wanted to do my best at it. And I wanted to learn every little thing I could about it. And that put me in a good position to keep getting opportunities that fulfilled my dream to kind of come true, like racing the trophy truck spec. Like,
Yep.
how badass is that? Like, still to this day, I'm on cloud nine, like what we did, me and Erica did in 2019 with the spec championship and score. And it's just like crazy. We did that.
It is super cool. I guess you're right though too. It kind of like I don't know. It gives me chills or like gets me sentimental thinking about it because that hard work and being open to all that stuff, like you really have to work hard, like really hard. But you also, like you said, like it's so difficult to like break into that stuff. And when you have that open mentality and you're really doing a good job and you're connecting all the dots, you get those opportunities. We get so many people asking like how do I get into off-road racing? Like, how can I follow in Sarah's footsteps? Whatever it is. And honestly, the hard work, well, first of all, you're open and you're humble, but you really have to like just be open to being able to, I don't know, get into those seats.
Yep. And I get that question all the time. Like, how do I get involved? How do I get sponsorship to do this? Well, number one, you're probably not going to get sponsorship to start. So the best way to start is just get out there, go be around the people that are doing it, go make friends with them, go live it, eat, breathe it, like it's the only way you're going to learn. And then things will just happen. If you're around it, people are going to see you and meet you and they're going to be like, you should just come with us to Baja. And they're like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah,
Go down to
exactly.
Baja.
Put yourself in a position to be around it, just like you said. Patrick Martin said, Sarah's white razor and Patriot 2.0. He actually has a pretty cool razor that they call Patriot 2.0. Would look awesome next to each other. Oh, hey, Todd LeDuc wants to know if you're going to do the 1000.
I'm working on something for the 1000, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. It's Extreme E definitely takes priority on my schedule right now, and it's still up in the air, some of the races. And then also, when you race, like my whole thing is, do I want to be in a trophy truck? Yeah. Like long term, that's going to be my home. I feel like I'm going to race trophy trucks until the day I die. But it's being able to do it with the funding and then also being able to do it the right way. So like you need the time and the effort that you need to put into it for you to succeed. So it's like if my time's cut short racing something else, I don't want to put all that funding and effort into it if it's going to be kind of like halfway. So
Yeah.
it's all or nothing for me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're like the master of doing everything 100%, right? Well, I guess speaking of, have you ever raced RC cars? RC Amigos asked.
No. I
Uh,
haven't. BFG gave me a rock crawler RC car a few years ago, and I play with it in my house, but that's as far as I got with an RC car.
Trust me, they're so hard to drive. He's probably like a super badass or something. Boogie Dad says great role model for the girls. Yeah, of course she is very good role model. Sarah, Jason Dusty Summit said Sarah convinced me to quit my job.
I'm not, I have a really good, bad influence. I don't know which way to look at it. But a lot of like, okay, so I'm an entrepreneur, right? So like away from racing, I like owning my own businesses. I like kind of,
Yeah.
it's not easier, I can say. Like sometimes like today I worked and I painted cars and that's my paint business I own that it got me into racing cars. And I have to say, I really kind of enjoyed just being on the car lot and having a job to do. And then when it was done, and you can go home. But racing for me is so passion driven that it takes a lot more out of me, I guess you would say, because I want to put so much into it. I just fiend off of it. So, but I
Yeah, and
always
it
encourage
never leaves your
people,
brain.
huh?
And it never leaves your brain, just 24/7.
Never. Like, I don't sleep.
Yeah, I can really. Oh, here we got a couple more. I don't know, Miss Chief Maker. I don't know will you guys be at Trail Hero again? Dude,
I'm
her
hoping to be.
that'll be cool if you go. Kyle or Todd Leduc says you and Kyle killed it at the last Extreme E event. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Extreme E stuff. I think that's actually super super cool.
Yeah.
Man, everybody really wants you to get more races under. I don't think she has time to race UTVs on short course, guys.
Hey, look it. I have this UTV and then look at what just showed up today.
Whoa, look at that.
Yeah, that's a new pro. So there is
That-
some things coming with UTVs and the future looks bright. It's a lot more open, the schedule for me to still focus on Extreme E and then race the Polarises. So I'm hoping that that leads to some more stuff in the future and my long-term goals.
Dude, honestly, there's so many UTV races popping up like that are just like fitting in the schedule. Like I don't know what these like guys are doing. They're like trying to put them in between all the other races. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. The truck's like, obviously that's everyone's dream, a trophy truck. Like, come on, it doesn't get much cooler than that. But at the same time, it takes so much effort to do it right. And like, I don't want to just like race a trophy truck just to be someone who races a trophy truck. Like, I want to go in like we did with the spec truck, and I want to be a contender for the championship, and I want to put my all into it. And if my schedule doesn't allow that, then I kind of like hesitate a little bit. I'm kind of like, okay, I got to figure out the funding and then I need to figure out the schedule so that we can make this the ultimate program. And sometimes it doesn't quite work out. So you got to prioritize.
Well, yeah, and plus you said you do it all 100%, so like you can't go in 98%. Hey, so we got a question that came in. It says from Savage86 said, "Is Sarah ever going on the show Getaway Driver?" I don't know what that is. Do you?
Actually, my friend Michelle was just on it. She just posted it, and I like found the show through her. That was the first time I ever heard of it and seen
What is
it. It seems like it's a show like on the Fast and Furious crew kind of puts on, and people sign up with their own cars. It looks like, and then they have two people that are trying to like take them down in this getaway scene.
No way, dude. That's crazy. That would be right up your alley, though, like stunts and racing.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to like set up a street racer for that one because it's on the
That would,
asphalt. So that'd be cool though, because I want to do that as well. And I set up a car recently for that and put a handbrake in it, little
that
Hoonie.
would be super cool. Yeah, I mean, their UTVs are so capable. RC Amigo said, "Oh my God, Olivia says hello. Go burn fuel." Uh, and Pat Martin also commented and said, "UTV guys are huge fans. Hope to meet you at some point. We are running the new Estero MX Park, E Street MX Park short course series this weekend." That sounds pretty cool. See, I was saying all those new races are coming up, man.
Yeah, there is a ton of
Uh-oh.
UTV races. If you want to go racing, just get a UTV because you can find a race somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Jason at Dusty Summit says, "How about that BMW? Yeah, you got that BMW and you got a new truck, dude."
I did, yeah. So the BMW has been a car that I've wanted a long time. And mainly from like me getting into stunts, I wanted to get something that was, this sounds pathetic, but stick shift,
Yeah.
because I don't really drive stick shift cars. And so I wanted a little rocket that can kind of just, I can throw around, go do whatever with, like stun it, drift it, whatever the case is. Hopefully get Reese Millen to teach me some tricks.
There you go.
But yeah, so I got that thing a while ago, years ago now, and I love it. But I recently just got a GMC 2500 AT4.
I know. I
And
kind of feel like you were like flexing directly on me. I'm so jealous of that thing. Dude, that thing is so sick.
it's so sick. Like I walk out of my house and I see it and I'm like, that's a nice truck. Like that's mine. What?
You walk out, you're like, I forgot I got that. Sweet.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I had before that I had another truck and it wasn't my forever chase truck, and so I have all these parts and stuff that I got from Four Wheel Parts, and I'm kind of just waiting to like put them on something, and I don't know what, like I didn't know what I was gonna put them on until I got the GMC. So I think I'm gonna make that the ultimate chase rig, and
Oh, damn, really?
yeah, I think so. I don't know if I'm gonna put a service bed on it or not. I'm still like kind of debating because it looks so clean and nice with that one. So we'll see.
Dang, that sounds like a pretty cool project, especially getting all the parts and stuff. Seth Quintero commented in saying it's a clean 110. You can check it out real quick, bud. Hey, you haven't ridden your dirt bike in a while, huh?
Dude, it's been so long. My dirt bikes are at Ricky's house, and whenever I like go back to his house to do anything, my dirt bike's changed. So like before I had a desert tank on it and hand guards, and I was like, what do you expect me to do with this thing? I'm a moto chick to begin with. And then you think I'm gonna go run 100 miles right now with you? I was like, I can barely even go a lap around the track anymore before I get arm pump. I was like, I can barely ride a dirt bike.
Making you lace up your gnarly boots like right away.
Yeah. No, he is so gnarly and he expects me to be just as gnarly on a dirt bike. And I'm like, how does this work? This doesn't even compare.
Yeah, exactly. SoCal Big T said, Sarah, if you could race anything besides everything that you already have, so I guess a new form, what would it be?
The car.
What kind of vehicle though?
I would like to go in a Razor side by side because I'm most familiar with them. I can work on a Razor in and out. And then that's been my goal actually. So when me and Erica went to Africa in 2015, we went to the Rally Aishade Gazelle, which is a 9-day rally through the Sahara Desert. It's where Dakar used to go.
You're still gnarly for doing that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Still to this day, like that's an experience like I can't wait to tell my kids one day. That's just like, yeah, me and your Aunt Erica, like we just decided to go to Africa this one time and race a car.
Dude, that's so gnarly. Like so gnarly. And well, we talked about that a little bit on your show when we had the Dirt Life. What was it, last year or something? But oh, there's a couple other guys. Yeah, Pat, the unicorn sighting. She's always in lockdown, I guess, dude. Never comes out to play. She needs to though. Man, everybody wants you to go to their events. M. Garrett said, come to the dirt. I don't know what that is. And then the Texplex guys, it's probably Brian. He said, still waiting for a Sarah Price at Texplex. Dude, honestly, though, no joke, I bet you would shred it because it's full moto for side-by-sides, like big senders, big bull turns. Like, it's sick.
Really? I have to get a car set up for it.
It's just like a Lucas car, pretty much. Like, but yeah.
I've built a Lucas car since I was in that 900, that orange one.
Do a rent-a-ride. Have RJ or like one of the guys give you a rent-a-ride and go out there and do it, man.
Yeah, dude, the Anderson brothers, they're awesome. So I actually just bought property right across the way from the river house. So
oh, really?
he told me when I told him that, he's like, I need some stronger Roman candles. I will go on.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that means you're gonna have to go to Mexico and find like the big ones, dude, and start at the house.
No, they're the homies. They're awesome, and I always love hanging out with them.
Yeah, but if they're gonna try to prank you and take you out, you got to be ready for battle.
Oh, hey, I'll have some backup. I'll have a whole freaking tiny home full of something.
Like a well, don't use a potato launcher, but use something
bazooka.
Like yeah. Could you imagine? F. Garrett said, "Babes in the Dirt is all girls dirt bike weekend at Gorman." Ooh, that Gorman's badass too.
Yeah, so Babes in the Dirt, I've never been. I've always actually wanted to go. My good friend Jolene is getting really in with all them, and I think she's gone a few times now. And so I would like to go. If the schedule allows, I'm totally in.
That would be super cool. Plus, like I kind of feel like well, you're so busy, but I kind of feel like you miss two wheels because I know I do.
There's nothing like two wheels. Like, I am busy with the cars, but it's like anyone who comes from two wheels to four wheels are like, how do you train? How do you
Yeah.
practice? Well, yeah, you don't really get that opportunity very often because it's expensive, takes a lot more effort and prep and everything. But a dirt bike, I look back and I realize how much easier it was to just go riding every single day.
Yeah.
But nothing that compares to the freedom as two wheels. Like, I'm sorry, nothing does.
Hey, well, that's actually one of the questions that I was going to bring up because I've been like on the bike like it's like so much lately, just because I've been feeling like butt eating too many tacos, so I just been pedaling my butt off. But like, what
COVID.
when you're on the road so much, like, how do you get it? How do you still train, or like, what's your training regimen?
You know what? I've been asked this a lot lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have. I have quite a few friends like in the industry that have asked me because I'm always, yeah, I always am active no matter what. I'm someone who's a busybody for the most part, so I'm always like doing something. I try to watch what I eat a little bit. I'm really bad with the diet, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm just an active person. And I'm born very muscular, which is abnormal for a chick, I guess you can say. So I'm born kind of like built. So I
Do you
always
think
look
you
like
have
I'm
a high?
people when I'm not.
Do you think you have a high metabolism? Because that means that you could like pretty much eat as many tacos as you want.
No, I get fat. They call me a fluctuator, my friends, because I go up and down with weight so easily. So
Oh,
no, I
really?
can definitely lose my weight, but I can also put it on really fast too because I like to eat.
Let's see here. Yeah, I was really interested in that though too, because in fact, like I've been traveling a lot too, but I couldn't really keep my momentum. Like I would go for like a week or two and not have like not pedal at all or not like get any cardio in, and I
Yeah,
was getting so down on myself. So I was like, I know who I gotta ask. I gotta ask Sarah when I talk to her.
yeah. No, I honestly, cardio is my weakness. Like when it comes to anything that like a high heart rate for a long distance. But it's crazy because you put me in a race like when I did the 1000, it was 19 and a half hours in the truck, and I was not phased really, like physically. Like obviously you get mentally tired a little bit because you're tired because you need to sleep, but other than that it's just kind of like this mental thing that you just overcome all that. But no, I just try to like make good choices when I can, or when it's like dire, or when I
Yeah,
realize I'm starting to get a little pudgy. I need to kind of like watch myself. But I've never been that super lean person, but
you're making
uh,
me feel so much more comfortable with myself right now.
yeah, no, don't.
Uh,
I hold my weight well, so when I gain weight, people probably don't always notice unless you see the double chin start popping out in pictures, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Sarah's on the heavy side right now.
All right. So Arnable, I think, says if you would get the chance to compete in Formula Off Road Iceland, would you?
Yeah, I just got back from Iceland. Iceland is so badass. I am so pumped on Iceland right now. So yeah, that'd be really cool.
Let's see. And Sandoval 14, Sarah Price is most favorite person down in Baja. Love you, and put a bunch of surfing emojis. Pat Martin. The crazy thing is how well the experiences from bikes translate to side by side driving. I kind of feel like maybe you could answer that, Sarah. Like you had so much experience on a motorcycle and you reached professional level. Like how much does that actually go into a high level off road racing? Like talk about maybe in two ways. Talk about it at a beginner level and a side by side, the level that you're at now, me against the top drivers in the world.
So I would say when I first got into a side by side, I realized not a lot of people around us like really trained. Like no one actually had a skill set. Meaning like you go through the corner this way and this is the way you do it. So I
Right.
was constantly asking like, how am I supposed to go through the corners? Like in motocross, there's a way you go through the corner. There's
Or
a
a
way you
line.
can, yeah, there's a line, there's form, there's your position, there's the throttle when you put it on, the
Yep.
brakes, whatever. In cars, it's not that way. I realize in off road especially, And so I kept asking and no one really could give me an answer. So I kind of had to just do seat time, figure it out myself, and then just pick at everyone's brains wherever I could. But I used everything I learned from motocross to kind of give me a good platform, I guess you would say. And it taught me how to read terrain, also how to be disciplined, late braking, you know, stuff about being smooth, how the suspension gets upset if you're not smooth on the throttle and whatever. And then nowadays, I've learned so much that I also just have to, I'm my own worst enemy. So at the end of the day, when I line up to a gate, or if I line up to a race, or even going into the 1000 when we got second, we won the championship, you know, like I'm always going through my head like, damn, is it just luck I'm like here, or is it like my actual skill, or is like what's the case? Once I go, it's like I just have to trust my instincts because I know I have it. And you have to believe in yourself. And that's one thing that I've really learned has helped me, is that I've trained really hard to be in this position. And also I think of every aspect and any aspect that can kind of come into play to be prepared. So, and I also put in the work. So when I take off, it's just, okay, all's left out here. Now it's just time to do it and just trust it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I actually, my last week, I've been seeing like doctors for like visual receptors and like brain connection to the eyeballs and all this other crazy stuff, right? And the way that motocross and like I probably quad racing and stuff, like professional racers, their visual senses operate like 9 to 10 times quicker than anybody else. So like, let's just say you yourself are driving down the road in Southern California in your GMC truck, and you look so far ahead and you can process information so quickly that you wouldn't like get in a rear end accident. You would see traffic way before everybody else saw it, or you would know to dodge out of the way or something like that. Like your receptors and all that stuff is way higher level than the normal human being. So when you say trust your instincts, you're doing the perfect thing.
Yeah. And it is true. It's like on the road, I can't use that as an example because I'm not the best driver on the road, but when it comes to when I'm paying attention and I'm focused on something, I definitely like, I can look ahead and kind of think out every which scenario might happen and choose the best option in that second. And that's crazy that I can just process all that to like, all right, I think I need to do this. And even Erica, she's always said it. She's like, it's crazy how you find traction. Like in the spec truck, we're at a limitation on horsepower. So it doesn't help us. It's a little bit harder to drive because you've got to work a little bit harder to get that truck to move where you want it to move because you don't have power. And so it taught me a lot of how to use your throttle to modulate in order to keep yourself going, to not get stuck, to keep yourself out of situations, be kind of prepared with the weight of the truck. And it's transferred into anything and everything I've kind of done.
Dude, like riding the 80 or 125.
Yeah, to stay on the power band.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. I don't know how to say his name. Edric Oliter. Do you have any stunting coming up?
I just got off a commercial with a car manufacturer, but it was pretty cool. I was driving a sedan through an apartment. Super random.
Really? Ooh, that
Yeah.
was
It
cool.
was really tight. Like I had inches on each side of where I had to like place it and every move I had to do. And I was kind of like, not gonna lie, the first day when I had to go to rehearsals, I was like, this is a little sketchy. Like I don't really know where my nose is right now, but I know I only have this much to play with.
That's
So
so cool that you can actually put a vehicle like it's almost like an extension of your body at that point.
yeah, you really have to trust your like point. So you always hit the same in the seat. You kind of look at like use anything like a leaf on the ground or like a piece of tape somewhere, like the corner of a door. I don't know. You
Yep.
use it as a point, and it just helps you. You know, you just don't move, and then you just look at those.
That's exactly what I was talking about, though. Your visual connection between your eyes and what you see is completely different than a normal human being. So good on you for trusting all your instincts. Let's see here. Uh, yeah, that's called racecraft, and you have it. Oh, here's talk about what works well from a technical perspective between you and Terry Madden. And Terry is the co-driver, excuse me, that helped you what at King of the Hammers, right?
Yep. Terry rode with me at King of the Hammers. Terry's very experienced in the rock, so it was cool to have his knowledge. King of the Hammers is just something that when you go into it, you're kind of like, well, hopefully the luck of the draw is today. Like, it's so gnarly on your equipment. It's so gnarly on you. because you got to be so methodical with when you go into the desert section and then you go into the rocks and how your car is set up. Because are you going to set it up for the desert? You're going to set it up for the rocks. You know, it's almost impossible to set it up for both.
Yeah.
So King of the Hammers, I love it. Every single year I look forward to it. Never done really that good there, to be honest. I've been up in the front many times. Don't like every time I've been up in the front, and then all of a sudden I roll or something breaks, and then we're in the midst of it all. But
Dude,
I still
we were
love it.
winning until we weren't.
Yeah, always. You know, we were totally winning until we weren't.
Honestly, that race looks so gnarly, though. Hey, and good on you for helping everybody else out last year too. That was super cool of you. That's like such good. Like we were talking about racecraft, but race professionalism and humbleness also comes into effect too. So that was awesome that you did that.
Yeah, well, we were broken, and I had no part to fix the car. So once we were done working on our car, I was kind of like, all right, well, I'm standing here doing nothing. And then, I see my teammate on Polaris Razor, Casey Curry, come up, and I'm like, and he's like, something's wrong. What's going on? I'm like, you got a broken axle, man. And I have my tool bag in my hand. And I'm
Oh,
just
really?
like, just back up. I was like, we'll just start changing it right now so you can keep going. Because if you don't have four-wheel drive on the rocks, it's really kind of impossible.
Yeah.
So we just got out and started changing his axle. And then the Gomez brothers, best family ever. They had a broken steering rack, which none of us had. And if you have to change that in the cars, it takes just way too long. So they gave us their knuckle for us to keep going after the fact. So after we fixed Casey, he got up going. We got a knuckle from the Gomez brothers, and then we got to finish because of that. And so, like, talk about sportsmanship going all ways. Like, it was pretty badass.
Dude, that's like paying it forward so hard.
Yeah.
Alexa said hi from Ensenada, BC. Hey, so I want to talk about Extreme E a little bit more, but I heard that you've been, that you had a bat in your house and you have all kinds of stuff going on. So you got back
Dude,
home.
last night I got home from dinner and there's a bat in the house, and like,
How is
I'm kind
that
of
possible?
chick. I'm a total chick when it comes to like stuff like that. And then there was a June bug earlier, and I'm like, what the heck? I'll post a photo after this of the June bug so you guys can see. But it's on my harness in the car, and I was like, what the heck? It was up with all these flying things at my
Is
house.
that one of those green bugs?
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're so loud.
and they're so big.
Yeah. It's like a pterodactyl.
Yeah, like I didn't even get to bed early last night because this bat was flying around the house. We were trying for like hours to get this thing out.
What the heck? How did you even get in the house?
I leave my doors open for the dog, and I
Oh,
think I don't know. He must have gone down and like swooped in because it's a doggy door.
yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have been so pissed because like the first thing that I thought, like I obviously saw it on social media and I was like, oh dude, you know how long it's gonna take for them to shoot that bat out the window or wherever you.
Oh yeah, it did.
And did you have your friend there with you or were you solo?
Yeah. So my friend Amber is staying with me. She races ARCA NASCAR.
Oh,
And
right
so
on.
she's in the other room, and we went to dinner. I was taking her to a restaurant she hasn't been before she leaves because she's been living with me for a few months. And we came home to that, and it was just so funny. Like, the videos are hilarious because we're just, like, both, like, screaming, just like, what the heck? There's a bat. And she's like, I think it's a bird. I don't know.
I'm gonna
Just, like,
sound like a total chick when I say this too, but like are bats poisonous?
I don't know. I don't think they're harmless or harmful.
Like they can't mess you up? I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe our audience can tell us whether they can mess you up or not.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the racing stuff, though. You got ma'am at the house right now. Get back. Uh, are you good to go?
What?
Are you good to go? I heard a beep.
That's okay. I'll show you my little setup I have going on here.
Dude,
So this is my little stand right now. Is this Dometic battery? I actually have a light going. I never used it before. And then it's on top of this is a fridge. And there's
oh, dude,
stuff
that
you
is
shouldn't see in
it.
there.
Do those speakers work?
Yeah, that's what we rock out to in the garage here.
Dude, I should have just went over to your house and did. We could have jammed out, man.
Totally. All day tomorrow, I'm going to be working on cars. So if you guys want to join, I'll just be in the garage. So Erica's coming over, working on stuff.
Party at Sarah's house. Hey, so the Extreme E stuff, though, like right now it's what 178 degrees in Southern California.
Yeah.
You like how I added that number onto 100?
78.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, And you're gonna go to Extreme E in where is it? The Arctic, Greenland?
Going to Greenland. So Greenland's actually the more ice one over Iceland. Iceland's the green one. Makes no sense.
Well, yeah, but still, it's gonna be like negative 78 degrees there.
I don't know. So like we just got back from Iceland and Iceland wasn't too bad, but we were there at the hottest 2 days of the year.
Okay,
So
so when
wasn't
I
bad.
when I heard that Extreme E was going to Greenland, I did a little bit of research, and I was like, okay, how cold is it? Because I hate cold, and I was like,
Yeah.
how cold is Sarah going to be when she goes? And they said that 90% or like 90% of 90% of Greenland is ice.
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah.
insane. Are you ready for that?
No, I don't like the cold. I am moving to Arizona for a reason, but dude, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Like with the Extreme E, I never know what to expect. It's the first year for the series, the first locations for everyone. It's kind of like it's nuts, but it's so awesome what they're doing. But I heard just for the grapevine that we're racing on more sand, gravel. Like I'm guessing it's
Oh,
going to be like very like uh, very big like sand griddled rock kind of terrain. I'm guessing like at the bottom of glaciers, maybe.
well, actually, so I got a really like racing question for this then. So you're racing in all these different terrains against, like I said before, the best drivers in the world. But how does that compare? Because I feel like that's almost like leveling the playing field when you're putting drivers in positions where they haven't been before. Like, unless you've raced on ice, how the heck are you going to know what to do?
100%. I think it's awesome because we're in a spec vehicle. So everyone's in the exact same car. And that's what's really rad about it because I love driver classes.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole disadvantage of having better technology or whatever the case is. And I'm
Much
sure one
faster.
day the series will come to that,
Yep.
but right now it's not there. So we walk into the same vehicles. We have minor changes we're allowed to do for setup. But I like adapting to new terrain. I like adapting to new tracks because that's something I always have to kind of do, like when I get these opportunities to get into a trophy truck, it doesn't mean I have a whole prep job to go and get used to this truck or go train in it and practice in it. It's like, cool, you get to race it, but you only get 10 minutes before the race to get used to the truck. So I kind of have to make it happen.
Honestly, though, I couldn't agree with your first statement more, though. Like, having a driver's class has always been my favorite. Like, that's why I love UTV so much because
Yeah.
it kind of limits it a little bit. I mean, you still have the guys that have a lot of money and do their unlimited stuff, but it really, like, again, talking about moto, it kind of brings you back. Like, the stock class at Loretta or the mod class, you could still race a stock bike in the mod class if you were good enough, and you
Yeah.
could be potentially competitive, Like, maybe it's not quite the same these days because I'm so old, but, like, it's really kind of gives me that same feeling. And like having the spec class in Extreme E, I mean, dude, motocrosser, a Pro 4 driver, now racing up against like Jensen Button, like, oh my God.
Hey,
That's
I love Jensen, by the way. I'm a big fan of him now. I didn't know about him before all this because I'm a total dirt girl. I don't follow like any of the street stuff. And, forgive my ignorance on it all, but I was super naive going into it. Like, I didn't know who Nico Rosberg was. I didn't know Jensen Button. And Jensen, when I met him, he's like, we raced against each other twice. And I was like, we did? He's like, yeah, you got second. I didn't finish. And I was like, where?
what?
And he's like, yeah, at the 1000. And I was like, I don't remember you at the 1000, but I remember hearing your name at the Mitt. And I remember walking by your truck and being like, that's a different sponsor. Like, who's that? And then they're like, oh, that's a Formula One guy. But I didn't really put it together until I met him. And we just kind of hit it off. And ever since, like, he was the one on the Extreme E Series circuit that I could, like, talk to about, like, dirt because no one else really understands it like me and Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll be the first one to say it. I know our audience members will agree with me. We're all jealous because you get to hang out with some of those cool people. But on the adverse, look at you. Like, you should be proud that you're so humble and you're being able to do it and compete against all these guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, I honestly am super grateful. Like, this is a dream come true to be able to race worldwide and travel and get to do what I love too. So I'm stoked. There's not a better scenario that could have worked out for what I wanted for my future.
Hard work pays off. Yeah, Jason also said F1 is not street, Sarah. Ha ha ha.
They always say that, but I never know what to say. Like, You know, when I talk to people who race street, road course, asphalt, what's
Oh,
the
I
other?
always mess it up too. I mess it up 100 like all the time.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, and then it's funny because people talk to me and they're like, oh, off road. And I'm like, that's not off road. Like, they're like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, well, that's desert racing. That's
Yeah.
short course. Like, it's different. That's rock crawling. And then they're like, oh, we don't understand the difference. Like, I get it. I don't understand your world.
Said like a true dirt lifer. Oh, this is actually a cool, a fun question. Edric Colliter said, "Tell me an album that you've been listening to recently."
Ooh. So one of my favorite bands is the Interrupters, but my second favorite right now, I go all over the map. Anyone who knows me knows that my music is like it's a heart attack all in one playlist. But Dua Lipa, I really like her lately. So I don't like listening to her a lot.
Are you listening to all the hype jams, or are you listening to slow stuff?
Nah, no slow stuff.
I know, same with me. Punk rock 24/7.
Yeah, I do like punk rock a lot.
Jason said, "What are your thoughts on the Ken Block Jack's Redline program?"
Ah, dude, I think it's so badass. I think that's exactly what off-road needs. I think Extreme E coming into the world in off-road, it's just adding a whole new light to these people like an F1 who are now taking a look at it. And then now you have Ken Block and Hoonigan and Jackson. You have such a different dynamic kind of bringing it to this forefront on the stage that we need it. We need people getting involved in off-road. We need manufacturers getting involved in off-road. We need it to be more of a opportunity for people and businesses to want to get involved because we do it out of passion as of now.
I couldn't agree more. Like, I want to just clip that and just have that on repeat for every single person in the off-road world, because that's so true. And like, I've asked Lindsay Geyser a million times. Like, I'll just text her one day and I'll send her a video of like Axel Hodges jumping something, and I'll be like, "How can we make off-road this cool?" And she's like, "Dude, I don't know." And now it's starting to happen because all of these other people have these platforms to be able to showcase it.
Yep. Yeah, I was with Axel actually last weekend in Pismo, and he's sending stuff that jumps over my razor times 3. And I'm like, he found me a sick jump though, and I can't wait till it comes out on Monster. But it's crazy because like we can't jump as big as a dirt bike can. Dirt bike can kind of go anywhere all the time, and jump something. Where in a razor you can go anywhere and everywhere. Yep. But it's like to jump them, you kind of have to be a little bit more calculated, and then it's such a bigger machine that it doesn't look as big as when a dirt bike jumps it. It's kind of like, man, we got to think of something bigger. Like we need like to jump over a ship where the ship like kind of leaves as you're jumping or something, so you understand.
You know what? It's always about the angle and the inner portion of it. Like, let's just say it's a double. The down part just has to be a huge gap, because then it looks massive.
Yeah.
Like, if you're jumping over something, it always looks so weak. Adam Grunder says, "Sara rocks. Best of luck." Who is your favorite to win Vegas to Reno? Indian style last.
What's the Indian style last? What's that mean?
That's his name.
Got it.
Who is your favorite to win Vegas to Reno?
Well, guys,
how about in the UTV class?
Okay, I was gonna say, well, if you're asking me, I was like, I don't know if I got promoted or demoted, but I'm now a motorhome driver for Ricky Brabeck, so I'm hoping he starts and wins because I'm driving the motorhome for him. But other than that, UTV class, ooh, that's tough. I have so many friends in that class. I'm like egging it on, and that's the cool thing about UTVs. It's kind of like everyone's game. Like anyone can win.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It goes back to like what you were saying before. Like, you have to be able to visually like see yourself crossing the finish line, so you know that you're going to take care of the car and you know that you're going to make it there.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, moto kids always gravitate toward punk rock. Yeah, that's true, John. Let's see. Need Pastrana in a trophy truck. Well, Ken Block in a trophy truck is pretty much like Travis Pastrana over there, man. So it's pretty cool that they're all doing that.
Yeah.
Streaming like KOH had this year will help tremendously. Yeah. All these guys, like Extreme E does a really good job at their media package too. Like all these series are really coming up like to a high level with promotion, right?
Yeah, it is crazy. My parents even said that. They go, Sarah, for the first year for the series, it's insane what they look like on TV. Like they make it look so awesome from our side, and we don't get to be there, so it's awesome for us,
It really is. How does it feel for you when you're being a part of something like that? Because you're on the evolutionary portion of this off-road racing at such a high level.
Yeah, I honestly like, I'm pretty outgoing and I'm pretty I don't know, I guess real. Like I don't really mask too much of what I say. So it's been awesome getting to know the owners, getting to hang out with them, getting to also have, I think, a big say in a lot of things in the series, which has been awesome because they're looking at us like, hey, like at first they didn't have bead locks and now they have bead locks because they realized like it was when me and Kyle went to our first test, we kept peeling tires off the wheels and we're like, yeah, of course it's going to happen. It's like we're off road. There's a big tires. You got to put some bead locks on them. It's
Yep.
kind of mandatory. Like when you first get a car, you put some, in my case, race line bead locks on. It's the first thing I do. So yeah, I think it's been awesome to get to know these people, and I don't even understand the statue that they are at. And then the fact that they're even looking at me for advice or any sort of information, it's pretty cool to have a little bit of say in it.
I really appreciate that you're being so humble about it, but you are a wealth of knowledge, and I think that's super cool to hear that because that means that that series is going to grow because they're like a sponge right now listening to all you guys.
Oh yeah, and they're crazy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like Alejandro, who owns it, him and Ali, they are masterminds, and there is no boundary to whatever they want to do. Like, they're crazy. The ideas that they come up with and the fact that they make them reality is exactly Extreme Me. And then they have the Powerboat series that's about to come out that's all electric, and I'm just like, wait, what? You never even like driven this boat before, and you're gonna go racing? And they're like, yep.
Yeah,
That's so
electricity and
cool.
water. I thought that didn't work, but apparently it's going to happen.
Yeah, right?
That's pretty cool. Hey, so did I hear you say that you're moving?
What was that?
Did I hear you say that you're moving?
Yeah, so to that property in Arizona, eventually, once we build on it, we're going to build the dream house and the dream shop, and then have a bunch of tiny homes and RV parking spots for friends to come visit. And it's right on the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the desert and we got the river. It's going to be, the ultimate. It's something I've always dreamed of. So, like, most women probably dream of their, like, dream wedding or something, but I dream of my dream house and then all my toys I can have in my dream house garage.
I
And
can only
so,
imagine since you barely sleep, like you're sitting there like designing your house in your head before you go to sleep.
okay, we met with the builder and Ricky was with me and I like drew out what I wanted on graph paper. And we
Yeah.
met with the builder and it didn't have dimensions on it or anything. And he just like, she just wanted to draw some squares just to show you. And I was like, this is kind of what I want. This is what I would like to like make over there. They're like, what? I'm like, this is
Dude,
what I want.
that is so funny. Um, looks like you can find a ride if you want. So John from Desert Squadron said, Sarah, do you want to ditch the motorhome and team up in the 6100 with us for V2R? It's a geyser, so you'll be right at home.
Ooh, Geyser Spec Truck. That's my love. So the team that actually bought my spec truck I raced with RPM, they Dave Bonner is one of the crew members on the team, and he's just like, so look at who bought your truck. And I'm like, if you need any help with it, I know every inch of that truck. I know all
Yep.
the perks about it. I was like, just let me know. I was like, that's my baby, so take good care of it.
Plus, you're spoken like a true racer, giving back, right? Trying to help everybody else too.
Yeah.
Uh, what's on the roster for 2022 then? Because I mean, you've been so busy. Have you even had time to think that far, like in advance?
Yeah, I'm kind of going crazy. I'm not going to lie. Like, Extreme E is awesome, and we race 5 times a year, and it takes a lot of time when we do have a race, but we don't get much seat time. And on top of that, like, I still want to be in the desert. I want to get tons of seat time anywhere and everywhere I can go. But it's been kind of hard to figure out that balance, I guess, between running my own program and still getting to get that seat time and race cool stuff, and then also prioritize Extreme E. So in 2022, I hope to do a lot more racing myself independently, and then as well as, do better in Extreme E. We haven't had the best of luck this year, so we're hoping to turn that around. And then, yeah, that's the goal as of now. Hopefully, a lot more razors are going to be involved, and then hopefully some trophy truck stuff. But if not, it's going to be just Extreme E and the razor.
Well, and you're going to do a little bit of moto too. But yeah, so we actually talked on, we had Cody Bradbury and Corbin Leverton on the show on Monday. And we talked about kind of like that same thing. Like your mentality confirms what I had asked them. Nobody really does like practice, like they don't have a practice bike and a race bike. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like off road, you kind of just go to the races, you show up, you do a little bit of testing. Like, and it sounds like from what I'm trying to gather from you is that you kind of want to be behind the wheel, like doing those practice sessions, keeping your skills high. So no matter what vehicle you end up going to the race in, even if you're in a side by side, you show up and you're more prepared for the Extreme E vehicle.
Yeah, 100%. Anywhere I can get seat time right now is kind of what I'm looking at. But then I also want to get seat time in a big way, you know, like I want to do the Baja 1000 and a trophy truck, but then I kind of have to like, okay, Sarah, I need to come back down here. Is that realistic? Are you going to go broke doing that? Or is it going to be worth it? Do you have the time? And it's like, okay, maybe this doesn't weigh out. So then you kind of have to like come up with plan B. So we're kind of going to work out something around all of that to make it happen. Just pick and choose races to go big and put 100% in to prepare and be competitive in. And then also too, like, you know, I want to do more stuff with the stunts just to kind of increase those skills because that's going to be a forever long-term income for myself. And I absolutely love doing it. So, you know, maybe some drifting I'm going to be learning here and then whatever else I can kind of like put underneath my belt.
Yeah, that is super cool because it gives you the opportunity to just know how to handle a vehicle in general. On
Yeah.
that same topic, like I've always wondered, like I think those Extreme E vehicles are like one of the baddest things to ever hit, right?
Yeah.
But coming from being a side by side guy and you coming from side by side racing, well, like maybe you can tell us like some differences or some similarities so that we can both kind of live the dream, or all of us in the audience can live the dream that you're living right now, driving one of those cars.
So these cars right out of the box were kind of first ever, you know, driven in the series and in some testing beforehand. So they're a lot different than anything and anything out there really in the world. I would compare it most to a side by side, 100%. The suspension is definitely very different than a side by side, as well as, you know, you have the electricness, and everyone's like talking about, okay, it must be instant torque and all this stuff. Well, it's just like anything. When you have a super powerful off-road vehicle that is combustion engine, you know, maybe you got to detune it a little bit because when it's at full power, it's starting to break everything. So it's the same thing with the electric engine where we're pushing them to their limits. Like we have to detune ourselves as drivers to drive these cars right now because we got to keep them together, make sure like we don't learn their weaknesses during our races because it's so detrimental to the series points. And so it's been a big learning curve, I think, for everyone, for us as the drivers, us as a team, us as a series, and the car builders themselves. And I'm very excited to see what the next few years kind of come play with the new car that they end up coming up with, or what rules get opened up for us to do more modifications to the cars. Because even it's electric, everyone even wants to ask about the noise. The noise is the biggest thing. And we all probably have this sound, but I've never realized it until I was in this car. And I don't hear an engine, obviously. I hear debris and I hear dirt and I hear rocks hitting the chassis or wherever it's hitting. And it's super loud. And it's loud from the inside and it's loud from the outside. And it's like crazy to think like maybe this is always going on when I'm racing the trucks or side by sides, but you just never even hear that really, you know?
But
So
it shows like exactly what you were talking about having an open mind, because it would sometimes be difficult. Like I remember when I was racing the Lucas Short Course race, and they were like, "Dude, you're an idiot. You're not wearing earplugs. Like just wear earplugs so you can't hear the motor as much." And I'm like, "Why? Like I like hearing the motor." And I
yeah.
tried it once. I tried it once, and I was almost 3 seconds a lap slower because I couldn't hear the motor.
Really? Yeah, so
Yeah,
growing up, we were supposed to go off the engine. So like
yeah.
when you hear it or you feel the vibration or whatever the case is, that's when you know to shift. So
Oh. Dude, so you got to have a totally different sense. Like your body's got to be adjusted to it.
yeah, but I honestly like I've taught myself like I even had a steering wheel in my car till recently that I was getting really comfortable with and I like wanted it in every car I driven and like whatever the case is and I'm like I don't want to be like, I don't want to feel like I have to have the steering wheel to perform. Like, so I'm gonna ditch it. I'm gonna put one in I'm less comfortable with.
Yeah.
And so like I'm constantly changing it because I have been in so many scenarios, like even in the stunt world, when it comes to racing, like people think I might have all this seat time in these trucks or cars or whatever the case is. And most of the time I don't. I just go out there and I have to do the best I can with what's given to me for the race. And I think that's a big part of it is just, you know, always being
feel
willing
like that's
to.
so I feel like that's so cool that you're flexible like that though too, because everybody always knows what they want to buy, but what if you didn't have that? What if you just got something thrown in your face and you had to go make good with it? Like that's what you're talking about. That's super cool.
Yeah, almost guaranteed you're never going to be 100% like your most comfortable. So don't plan on it because when you plan on it and it doesn't happen, that's when you get bummed out.
Yeah, exactly. We got a few questions here, so we'll start trying to shuffle through them real quick. Case Speaks said, Sarah, how do I get out of my corporate role in New York City and get into the automotive realm?
Quit your job and get a job doing what you love in the automotive world. Come paint cars for my company. Come paint cars for SP Enterprises.
Yeah, see, and she's right though. Like those are like reality-based answers. Like you have to do it. Like you have to jump on it. There's so many people in the world that get caught up or comfortable in something that they dislike or that they mediocrely like. And I'm a huge advocate of making sure you go after your dream. I think that's really cool that you gave her that reality-based advice.
Yeah, it is scary. I get it. It is scary to make a big change in your life and it's comfort. And basically, school teaches you that. Like growing up, they're like, you need to get a job, 9 to 5, have good benefits, and all this stuff. And it's like, I want to have properties as my freaking retirement plan. I want to go live in my dream house at 30
Yep.
years old, you know? Like, I want all these different ways of looking at it. But I also, you know,
Well, you're even thinking about having tiny homes for your friends. Like, how rad is that? Uh,
yeah.
so Daniel Schenkelberg said, "Are there hella politics?" And I'm assuming that's for Extreme E.
Oh, yeah. And all racing, there's, and everything in life, there's politics. Are you kidding?
You
Look
go
at
to
the
the gas
news.
station, you're mad at politics.
So many politics.
Let's see here. Jason says, "What are your thoughts on Audi EV? They are racing at Dakar. EV is the future."
I'm so jelly. I'm not gonna lie. I want to go to Dakar so bad. Since 2015, like Dakar has been one of the things that I've always wanted to do. And I actually train at it. And, you know, I only get to race Sonora once a year because that's the only thing close to us that actually like uses that road book and that whole process like to a more competitive field. And I'm looking at ways to get overseas to do something to just prepare myself even more. But that's my true goal. And the fact that Audi's going there with their electric vehicle, I'm like, Chip, come on, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty cool though, because just like you said at the beginning of the feed that we're doing right now, if you see what you're gonna do, like if you visualize it, you have such a better way of doing it. I always tell like Caden Danbury has told me how much it helped. If you have a goal, write it down. It'll
Yeah,
be 90% more likely to happen if you just write it down with a pencil instead of just writing it on your phone.
yep. It is. It's true. It's like I I always want to put like long-term, short-term goals down and kind of look at them. And it's nuts. Me and my friend Cynthia were looking back, and she's always kind of helped me with my program a little bit here and there. And you know, there's times when I'm like sitting there and I'm kind of getting lost in it, and I'm like, I want this, I want to do that, and sometimes I can bring myself down to earth. And she's like, Sarah, just look back like 3 years, look back 5 years, and then I'm like, you're right. That's so cool. It's crazy to think like all we've done, but like I don't ever look at that stuff. I always kind of leave it in the past. I did it, cool. Now it's like on to the next thing. And you know, it's a curse, but it's also awesome in the same way.
Yeah, big dreamer. But yeah, memories, you can't ever forget where you came from. Just like I said at the beginning, remember the orange razor, don't forget about it. I
Yep.
remember that big old 78 right on the side of that bad boy too.
That was
Uh,
the sickest 900 ever.
it was pretty cool. Let's see here. The seat of the pants racer makes the racer. Evolution of experience makes it for a real driver. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. Pat Martin said, "Shit, we turned on UTV guys into a company, and it's legit scary and a ton of work. Starting your own company, but it's an absolute blast." That's pretty much what you did too, right?
Yeah, same thing. So hey, owning your own company doesn't mean that you have all the freedom in the world. Everyone's like, oh, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. It's like, no, I can't. Like, I have a business to run, and that's on Sunday, Saturday, 24/7. It's like, whenever I want to hang out, it might be on an abnormal time compared to 9 to 5 workers, but at the same time, it's like my work never stops, and it really doesn't, not till ever, really.
Yeah. But that's the goal. That, like you said, it's a blessing and a curse because you are able to fulfill some of the dreams that you have because you're able to work so hard. Let's see here. Brown Chargers said Mike Musto left the corporate world to pursue his dreams. Well, I think anybody that wants to do it, like Sarah said, you just have to get out there and do it. But if you have a family or something, maybe save up a little bit of money, put it in a piggy bank, and then
Yeah.
go out there and bust your move and check it out. Jason also said, what about Baja Rally?
I haven't done Baja Rally or the Nora Rally. I do know they're not looked at as competitively on the rally side as Sonora. So I kind of haven't put my funding towards that. I rather put it towards Sonora and then also go overseas. But if the Baja Rally happens to be open when my schedule's open, I'd love to do it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking at how to get to Dakar. And I think Sonora is the closest thing we have on this side of the earth.
And it sounds like your schedule kind of designates what you're able to do anyway. So
100%.
Daniel also said any trophy truck race. I think you answered that before, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Honestly, at this point, I'm not totally sure. Even if I decide to do a trophy truck race, Dugan has the engine right now to the trophy truck, and there's so many parts back ordered. So you have to be so ahead of your schedule right now just to be able to go racing. Because there's tons of trucks that aren't making it to Vegas Arena because they can't even get parts.
Yeah, COVID schedule.
Yep.
Desert Squadron actually, John is over there. He said, when you own your own business, you actually get to pick the 16 hours of the day that you want to work. LOL.
100%.
Yeah,
There's times that we're in bed at midnight, and it's like, I'm working.
Sarah doesn't sleep, so it might be more than 16 for her, dude. And then S. Bratton said, "Why be the best at one thing when you can pursue to be the best at all racing?"
Yes and no. So this is my biggest struggle in life. Balance. I want to do everything and anything. I want to take on the world. I want to do this, that. And I realized I really had to like kind of put myself back down on earth. And it's like, okay, prioritize, focus. What are the 3 main focuses? Racing, stunts, my business.
Yep.
After that, I kind of have to like be like, okay, Sarah, no, you can't do everything. You need to like start focusing on only these. That's it. That's all you're allowed to put all your energy towards. Because then you start kind of doing stuff a little half-assed.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. Focus is a huge key, and that's why a lot of people are successful. I mean, even the guys that do, like, let's just say race a Pro 2 and a Pro 4, a lot of times they're podium guys, right? But the guy, like Kyle LeDuc, that just races a Pro 4 will usually be a winner on the weekends. You know, like there's so much difference in the focus and the level of effort that you put into one thing. So kind of like what we were talking about leaving your corporate job. Make sure you're putting 100% of effort into it, and it will succeed, just like what Sarah's doing.
Yeah.
All right, so I have like my most favorite question. I can't wait to hear your answers for this. But what have you been doing outside of racing? Because it seems like that consumes your life, and I know you have fun outside of racing.
Well, buying my dream property has been something pretty big. And then Ricky recently got a surf boat, so we've been at the river a ton, just learning how to surf, skate, or wake surf. And so I'm a beginner. I'm learning, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. I love the water. If I'm not in the desert, I want to be in the water. Like I grew up going to Glamis in the river, so and it's kind of still it's totally in my blood. That's why I'm going to live at the desert and the river.
How competitive are those wake sessions?
Okay, Ricky's better than me because he's gone a few times more. And he's like trying to do like 360s and stuff, but I suck on a board. When it comes to boards, I just suck. And I already know that. So I just do my best, but I'm doing pretty good. I don't have to like grab onto the rope anymore.
Is it super hard?
For me, yeah.
No, like for anybody. Like what if everybody's a total beginner, like going out there, like is it harder than like wakeboarding or?
It is harder than wakeboarding, I would say. The hardest thing is finding your like perfect point in the wave. But yeah, we've had friends that can't get up. That's what they struggle. And then they're really good when they're up. Or it's the opposite. They can't get up, and whatever the case is, or they get up fast and then they're really good or not good in the wave. It all depends. Everyone's different. It's so funny. It's so much fun to watch people because it's just different.
I like. There's so many people that make it look easy, but I think it looks pretty hard.
Yeah, no, it's not as easy as they make it look. Trust me. Because I look on Instagram and I see all those people doing those tricks and stuff, and I'm like, how do they do that?
Or like catching a can of whatever they're gonna drink.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Let's see here. S. Bratton says, I love Mike from Chattanooga Whiskey. Are you still racing with Robert? Just found out 2 years ago. We have a racer here in Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga Whiskey is the best. Robert's awesome. Randy, he is the one that preps all the trucks in Texas. He's awesome too. The whole Texas boys, oh man, they're awesome. That's the truck that I'm talking about that we're trying to get back into. The White Beauty, we call her. She has a special place in everyone's heart. It's actually RPM's first trophy truck, I think.
Oh, so it's one of the original geysers, or?
Yeah, it's one of the original geysers, and then it went to Robert. Robert bought it off RPM. So it's kind of like it's been in my racing little family, and then now I'm in it, and it's pretty cool. But
cool. That would be cool to see you back behind the wheel.
Yeah, I know. I want to get back into the truck, and I know Randy does too. So they just bought the G6 though from RPM, so they're racing that at Vegas to Reno, and that's kind of their focus right now. So after that, hopefully I get the engine to them and we can race the other trophy truck.
Another thing that I'm like listening to you say, like you have the opportunities to race and you're putting in the effort to keep racing and keep things going. There's so much happening in the world that's either negative or whatever you want to call it. And there's been so many people that haven't been able to do that. So kudos to you for keeping your feet moving forward and keeping your eye on the prize, because it's super cool to see that you're out there doing it, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it definitely is. And Ricky's like, dude, you get to race Extreme E. And I'm like, I love Extreme E. It's so awesome. I was like, but I want to drive more. I want to do more. Like, what do I, like, got to figure it out. And he goes, you're driving me crazy now. He goes,
it's that whole practice thing that you're used to with your dirt bike, man. You want to ride all 4 days a week and then race on the weekend.
Yeah, I honestly can never get enough.
Well, so since you've been back, did you miss some of the Southern California tacos?
Man, I miss Baja tacos. All I want to do is go back to Mexico. I want to go eat some good tacos.
Dude, I can't even tell you how much I miss them. And I'm like really pissed off at Lindsay Geyser. I'm going to call her out again because she just posted that she was down in Mexico. She's like, I was too close, so I just went over and got like real tacos. I'm like, you suck.
Dude, Lindsay's a taco queen.
I know, man. I know.
Well, I'm just that rugged though, and they're gonna have a taco restaurant on their property.
Dude, their employees are gonna be so thick next year.
I know. I can't wait to go to Pismo though. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna come up just for the day to get tacos and go send it a little bit.
Dude, 100%. Hey, let me know when you go up there. I'll even hitch a ride in the back if the truck's full.
All right, perfect.
Well, I really appreciate everything that you've been doing and hanging out with us. I know your schedule's been super slammed, so I thank you very much for coming and hanging out.
Of course. Thank you for having me, guys, and all the questions were super cool. So.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. I want to get you back on the show, but we're booked for like 3 months, so it might be early next year. So we'll have to figure out when your schedule is good. Maybe we can even do a show from the new house after you get some stuff built on the land too.
Yeah, it's like bare land as of now, so it's looking like it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years before we even live there. So it's going to be a while, but we're going to have a paradise out there. So
I have a feeling with your perfection personality, your OCD, that you're going to have that house like just dialed.
I hope. It'll
be pretty badass. All right, Sarah Price, thank you so much. You're an awesome person, and we really appreciate you taking the time with us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right, we'll see you later. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Super cool to see that Sarah is able to hang out with us, taking the time to talk off-road, talk Extreme E. She's such a good person. She's got such a high level of excitement in everything that she does. So we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. On Monday's show, we have Mikey Kelly and Johnny Cultura. It's going to be pretty badass. We're going to have a lot of fun with those guys. They're headed out to Vegas or Reno next week. So we'll talk to them before they go out there, see how their prep is going. And thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Come hang out with us, DM, all that stuff, subscribe, everything. So we'll see you guys on Monday. Later.